everybody, my name is Leon. So today I'm going to be talking about a very deep topic in middle school learning about social and emotions and all of that. So today we're going to be talking about the topic of enemy. When you guys hear the word enemy, what do you guys think of? Do you guys think of its definition? Do you guys think of a person that is your enemy? Do you guys think of what did they do to them to make them your enemy? That will probably happen a lot, right? And so what is enemy in the first place? Enemy is a word that used to describe a person or a group of person that basically themselves did something to you or does something that you find not happy about it, basically negative feelings about it, and you despise them. And so today we're going to be talking about onto why are enemies good or bad, because they both, everything in this word have two sides, positive and negative. Now first, let's talk about what can enemies help us. First is that they give us motivation for improvement, right? Because usually when they are your enemy, you would want to be competitive, right? You would want to be better than them. You would want to be way much more valuable, way much more enthusiastic, things like that. So there is the motivation for improvement, and that is considered as the core motivation. That's what you want to have. Secondly, it gives you the competitive feeling that okay, I must exceed in that, I must ace in that, so that I will be better than them. Next is that it gives you more resilience, because enemies here, they could come in different types. They could be enemies because they talk behind your back, or they could be enemy because basically you guys are academics rivals, things like that. And so when you cope with them, when you deal with them, and when you conflict with them, you get resilience. And you get another thing that I haven't read on this is the ability to deal with conflict. Because when you are somebody's enemy, you're most likely to be conflicting with them, right? And when you are having an enemy, you're most likely to have the chances to know, how do I deal with these conflicts? How do I resolve in these types of conflicts? And then one last thing is that you could improve your self-awareness. You can improve your self-esteem, your self-dignity, and those are very, very important things that you should improve. Now, moving on to the negative things of having an enemy. First is that there's conflict, for sure. And there's going to be a lot of relationships, a lot of conflicts, a lot of arguments probably being held. What's important here is that it will lead to what we call as bullying and isolation, which are two very, very bad problems. Because when you hate somebody, when you despise somebody, and when you consider them your enemy, you're most likely to talk bad about them, you're most likely not play with them, you're most likely not like them, right? And all of them, when they are getting deeper, it calls into bullying and isolation. That okay, you shouldn't play with that girl. That is isolation. That is bullying in the first place, and that is very bad. Secondly, your self-esteem will be lowered. What do I mean by this is that not always will there be this situation, but there will be possible chances. Because when you are comparing you to them, when you're always on this road of competitiveness, you would lose your self-esteem and you would lose your own self-value. And lastly is that there's going to be negative feeling. There's probably going to be stress, probably going to be conflicts, probably going to be arguments, probably there's going to be a lot of talking to be said. And it will most likely to affect with your studies, with your work, with your academic, all over. And so what's important here is that enemy is not bad. Because here, you see I've listed out a lot of positive impacts of it. What is important is that you understand the limits of an enemy. You understand that they are like that. You cannot do anything to them. And that you should let them have a chance to live their own life while you live your own. And so remember that being enemy, although they may sound really bad, it is still something that pushes you, and that you should value them, you should respect them to get the respect you deserve. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.